That person signed up for Coinbase, uploaded multiple selfies, did two-factor authentications, gave their social security numbers, verified banks, maybe waited a couple days for them to be verified, literally hours, if not days. And guess what? Those centralized exchanges all have SEC lawsuits filed against them right now. So, I mean, if that's not stopping people, and if people are going through all those steps, I'm sorry, I fail to see how this is an issue. And in terms of what you said, I wanted to get into this discussion. It was the next point I was going to bring up because you were talking about, third party, I guess, sites that are created. So I don't know if RH Max himself created this. I think he did, maybe. But I know he's been sharing it. But the GoRealDeFi.com is the main one that's been created so far. It hosts easy, quick links with a picture of exactly what it is you're going to, whether it be like the Hex front end, the bridge, all the stuff we're talking about here. And each link leads directly to the current IPFS link. As you said, Ewok, supposedly, that's how it should work. But again, as you mentioned, like there are also updates. Like right now on PulseX, it's like the 1.002 version or whatever.
Yeah.
And how often will they get updated? And how often will that third party then update them? That's kind of the risk with something like that. I agree with you. So, I think it's fine. Like what I've basically been doing is going to like what were the former front ends, opening up the IPFS link and saving it for now. And I'll just go back and continue to see if there's updates or anything and move on from there. And in terms of some of these things, now, the bridge, I understand. If there was a gripe I was going to understand at all, it would be with the bridge version, because it's not like we have all these different pulse chain bridges that people are also using. And there's like other ones that have been built. Like the bridge is the one thing that people are really relying on to get over into the ecosystem.
Right.
But PulseX is just a DEX. And, we have been huge proponents of Piteous, probably more Piteous, not Piteous, probably more so than anything else that's been built for this ecosystem. It's a fantastic DEX aggregator. You still end up using PulseX through it. You'll notice it when you do your transactions because it is an aggregator. But I love the interface, and we've both been using that. I do kind of understand with a bridge, though, because it's like, well, this is how I need to get funds over into the ecosystem, and I want to make sure that I can get there. Yeah. But hey, maybe we'll have, I think we'll probably have even more stuff built over the course of this market to make access to that even easier. And to the Gold Key point, not to just single him out because there are other people that agree. I think he's just the one that has the loudest voice.
Right.
But, when you talk about the complexities of getting into crypto, in general, not just like Pulse Chain, I just put this in the chat myself a little bit ago. I remember when you were first telling me about Hex, and I only somewhat understood DeFi at the time. Like I understood exchanges, I understood how to I knew how to buy Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever else, but I wasn't totally in tune with like Uniswap, didn't totally understand DeFi, and I didn't understand like, okay, so I have to buy like whatever my initial onboarding is on the exchange, which I know how to do, send that to a wallet. And I don't think I was overly familiar with MetaMask yet at the time. Then I go to Uniswap. Like I just didn't, it was like, I don't understand, all these steps. That still exists for an overwhelming portion of crypto, like still now even. And we just had a bull market like a couple of years ago. Not only that, but the steps that it takes people to even buy this stuff on centralized exchanges for the casual guy who's like, oh yeah, I've got some ETH just like staked on Coinbase or whatever. That person signed up for Coinbase, uploaded multiple selfies, did two-factor authentications, gave their social security numbers, verified banks, maybe waited a couple days for them to be verified with them dropping change in it, then you verifying with you. Like they're literally hours, if not days, to get onboarded onto that.
Days. Yeah. Yeah, there's a waiting time.
And guess what? Those centralized exchanges all have SEC lawsuits filed against them right now. So, if that's not stopping people, and if people are going through all those steps, I'm sorry, I fail to see how this is an issue, and I think it's just bullshit that people are acting like it's that big of a deal. I just don't understand.
I agree. And you're right, but now think back how hard it was for you to do that, and now think how it's second nature. And I think we really have to explain to people, yes, it is a little difficult. You do it a couple times and you're going to be doing it in your sleep. I hope not. I hope you're not a sleepwalker, and I hope you don't make trades in your sleep. But what I'm getting at is it becomes easier the more you do it, just with anything else. But yeah, there is a learning curve, and it doesn't really slow that learning curve down. You still bookmark the site. You just click one extra button. So I don't think it's, once you get them that far, literally that one click isn't going to hurt anything.
I agree with you because they've gone through so much so far and they understand crypto by that point. Here's a great point by Philly. And there are courses. Now you can say whether or not they're worth their money, but there are courses in crypto still right now that teach you from the bottom up, and we will need that still coming into this bull market and everything with retail coming in. There are still people that don't even know how to get onto exchanges. But Philly here says, it took me weeks to learn all the steps and to self-teach with the help of videos on YouTube to learn how to do it all. Ledger, exchanges, how to stake, all of it. It takes time. You're 100% right.
Absolutely.
And it's worthwhile learning all that. I mean, like the security of wallets and stuff like that. That's the other thing too. You talk about all the security measures that you can take with holding your own keys, and like the different ways that you can hold those keys and know what they are and be able to access them at a moment's notice or whatever. When you're talking about security, the more inconvenient it is, it's just kind of the law of the way these things have to be weighed. The more inconvenient it is to do, the more secure it's going to be. That's just kind of the trade-off. And
exactly.
With the decentralization of all this ecosystem right now, I think we're seeing something similar. And I'm telling you, I mean, it's just not that much of a difference. I mean, there were many tokens that people were buying in the last bull run. I think of Phantom, probably Polygon Matic too, like these layer 1s, layer 2s that did well in the last bull market that were their own chain. And if you wanted native Phantom, you had to bridge over to Phantom with in their case, a bridge that's been hacked and multi-chain.xyz or whatever it was. But yeah, so that's been a thing. And it's been a thing with tokens that went up wildly in the past. So yeah, I'm not worried about it. I'm actually in favor of it overall. So